Hi, everybody. This is Ketal here at INSEAD. I'm delighted to be joined today by Peter Bakker, who is the president of the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, a global organization led by CEOs of over 200 businesses who are working together to accelerate progress towards sustainable development and a more sustainable development, a more sustainable world. Thank you for joining us, Peter.
You're welcome. Good morning.
My first question to you is, in your role as president of the council, what are you doing? How are you involved in the ongoing COVID-19 crisis?
Well, I think we're involved in four ways. First and foremost, this brings everything back to the human dimension. So you need to adjust your working environment, you need to take care of your family. Secondly, as the leader of an organization, you need to make sure that all your employees are safe. So we closed our offices now a little more than 2 weeks ago, set up all kind of regimes to stay in touch with everybody, know where the people are when anybody is sick. The third layer, we are at the World Business Council working with 200 leading companies. We've created a website where we actually post what our company is doing to positively inspire others to copy. And the fourth thing, and that's the most important one that we're ramping up now, what is a rapid response that business can actually put in place to deal with this crisis now?
Thank you, Peter. So tell me a bit more about that. What, in your view, are the critical actions that business can take today to respond to the crisis?
Well, first and foremost, business needs to take care of its own employees, and not just their health and safety. Obviously, that is in there. But also, I think this is really the time that stakeholder capitalism will be put to the test. Every business talks about it, but what are we now doing? Are we laying off our people, or are we making sure that their jobs continue? That's one level. The second level, I think, is we need to make sure that the supply chains which we operate are resilient. We've seen the runs at supermarkets that everybody has been engaged with. But if this crisis extends for 2, 3, 4 months, are we sure that the supply chains can deal with that shock? What are we going to do? And this can happen at individual company, but unless we bring the whole supply chains together for food, for medicine, for energy, we might see real shortages emerge, and that would be a tragedy. I think the third thing to really look into is, what does the public health system need? You know, we see many businesses where temporarily there's less employment, and yet at the same time in the public health system, we see a massive increase of need for people. Can we somehow temporarily match the people who are out of work or have less work with those who so badly need it now? So those, I think, are some of the highlights.
And you mentioned that this was an opportunity to walk the talk on multi-stakeholder capitalism. So can you unpack that a little bit more for me? I mean, what does that crisis also offer, if any, as an opportunity to rethink our economic model and the business models of all these companies?
Yeah, I think there's very interesting lessons that we're going to draw from this particular crisis. The first one is that I've not seen in all the work we do in sustainability anything that is able to mobilize and impact societies as quickly as this particular pandemic has been. And I ask myself, why is that? And it probably is because it's immediately personal. You know, either your own health, the health of your families, the loved ones, and that immediately wakes people up. The second thing you see is stock markets react in complete panic, which puts shocks in the whole economic system. And before you know it, we talk ourselves into a recession. So I think a couple of things will have to come out of this. One is, how do we better prepare our supply chains, but also the buffers in capital markets, the resilience in people for shocks like this? Because it's impossible to say that COVID is related to climate change or any of the other big environmental pressures, but it is possible to say that these environmental pressures will make more of these shocks come to us in the future. And this one is, it's the ultimate stress test, whether we are ready for it. And I don't think we are, by the looks of what is happening today. So really, resilience needs to become a much bigger factor. Are companies indeed going to lay off people? Is the bottom of the pyramid is going to suffer most, or are we going to build better ways of dealing with that? And that means at the end of the day, we need to move to a model of integrated capitalism. If we're continuing to think that an economic model where only financial results, or in this case, financial pressure, will drive our decisions, then it will not serve the people, it will not heal the planet. So I'm hoping that people see this as a clear warning shot that the power of nature, in this case a pandemic, is still so much stronger than any construct that humans have created, and that we fundamentally take the time to rethink how do we get better prepared for future shocks.
Thank you very much, Peter, for this message of hope and this call for action in these complex times. Thank you.
Thank you.